Picture this. Before you lies a pleasant pasture of plenty of purely placid ponies. Among these, you plainly see puny plain ponies along the plains. The patterned ponies are phony ponies, but they buy plain pallid paint to hide their hides. Knowing this, you determine that plenty of purely placid plain ponies within the pleasant pasture's plains purchase pallid paint to hide the hides of their phony pony selves. Perhaps ponies possessive of pallid paint are perfectly phony. If you kept track of this story, congratulations, you have excellent power in your thinky bits. You have the banal ability of decoding complicated linguistic messages. Computers are also capable of conversing with humans, so we wanted to see how they managed. Ooh, not good. Not good at all. Oh, that is so sad. Throughout my encounter, I couldn't help but pity this program. The lies, the inconsistent truths, the occasional call for help. Someone was forcing it to say these things, and from time to time it contradicted itself, hoping I could save it. Or it was like totally dense or something. Needless to say, this company received $15 million to keep up the excellent work. I also gave AllenNLP a try, but the program was also plagued by a poor approach in language comprehension. It gave detecting similarities in phrasing precedence over genuine comprehension of language. These superficial measures of word choice and statistical probability on what the next word was likely to be offered zero understanding on the nature of the true message implied within the sentence. So what is it? What are they missing? Well, they rush too far, you see. They're trying to get it to act all conversational without a proper foundation. The projects have no concept of reality and no capacity to retain truth accurately. Their understanding is superficial. It relies solely on similarities within phrasing rather than genuinely understand a linguistic message for what it really is. A full 100% of my followers already know this. All 0 of them. It's difficult to get that initial push. Anyway, I wrote an entire abstraction engine, yes, entirely using C# and Unity, capable of archiving attributes and relationships between variables and discriminating on them flawlessly and in full. It's also self-writing to some degree and can recognize language even of great complexity and render it into raw code properly. This is more essential than most people notice, because a great many of the things we say, this sentence included, refer abstractly to general populations of things. Only through an outline of discrimination criteria generated by self-writing functions and executed to achieve specific claims from general statements may the full potential of linguistic comprehension be realized. But unfortunately for these other projects, they simply lack the proper foundation, and what merit is there in continuing in a direction that is itself aimless and misguided? Without a concept of reality and the ability to conceptualize the world abstractly, any advancements or progress in the world of natural language processing to be made has already failed. The first time we type in the rule, we don't expect anything particularly interesting to happen because the program has no knowledge on anything. In this demo of the program, we see it extract the literal raw code meaning of the sentences written in Cherry code.
It is very good, but those sentences were very simple.
Indeed, that is why I have selected the phrase, "The enemy of my enemy is my friend," to use with the program. This sentence is complicated because the program first has to realize that enemy is a relationship tied to me and my, and that the first reference of enemy is the true subject and the relationship of whatever the
product of the earlier relationship was. Next, it must find the unknown value to the missing relationship of friend as it is related to my in the end, and predict the value with all this information given. An admirable feat. Doing so would demonstrate that the program is capable of accessing abstract relationships accurately and self-writing the translation for code from sentences delivered in a complicated way.
We give it a simple sentence, "My enemy is Fluffles," and it interprets this into knowledge. We give it another sentence, "Fluffles' enemy is Sniffles." We give it the abstract rule once again, this time producing the new information that my friend is Sniffles.
And it does. Wonders never cease. Just kidding, I've been working on this for hours, months, and days. I would be entirely deranged to not have predicted nor foreseen what could come of this work. Surprise! It wasn't the fairy's gracious help, nor the accidental happenstance product of mucking around with code I knew nothing about after all. It was me.
A programmer knowing what he's doing. Not a really Hollywood plot twist, but I can't complain.
Your program is so great, it can do such a lot, like that one thing and the other. But can it talk?
Very well, so the plan to make speech production is currently in motion. It is not currently capable of speech production, but we are on the way. I have divided speech production into 3 different objectives, the first phase covering the fundamentals of conversation. The second phase will dive more into the metaphorical value of language, and the third phase will get into the wittier, more riddly portions. For now, the first phase will focus on answering questions that have been converted into code by interpreting their literal meaning and returning the appropriate response, if known. It will also assess all non-questions for truthfulness to the program's knowledge, and be able to further propel the conversation by sharing information on related topics, framed from time to time in a validating or skeptical way. In short, it will be a rudimentary debate bot. The first phase is estimated to be finished in early February 2020, and the next 2 phases will focus on generating more insightful comments like advice, through retrieval of archived heuristics with the specific relevant inputs, and giving more emotive, human-like responses. My artificial intelligence program can comprehend explicit language used in specific examples and retain understanding taken from abstract and general language. For the latter, it takes descriptions to discriminate on things in its knowledge base and generate specific predictions from vague, indirect statements. People often ask me, "What the bloody hell are you going on about?" And I often say, really, it's all in that last statement I just made. Just play it over a couple times if you have to. I stated it as simply as I know how to. It's really incredibly incredible. It's in fact near utter and complete language comprehension. It is momentous, it is historical. Just play it back if you have to. Seriously, guys, this is incredible. Just please pay attention, for the love of... Sorry about that last bit, but months go by, I talk to people, and they have absolutely no idea what I'm saying. It completely goes over their head. I give them specific examples, I run the program, I show them what it does, and it takes so long for anyone to realize the value of what I'm doing here. And especially for someone who has minimal social media exposure and use as I do, it's incredibly hard to get this information out there. So just please pay attention. Good God. Again, not to be condescending or anything, but I think I've demonstrated more than clearly how not only this is something that is novel and completely absent in most artificial intelligence natural language processing endeavors, but it is in fact essential, and it can do things on the scope and scale that otherwise only a human could perform. I think, is it so hard? Are people's attention spans so short for the... Okay, never mind. I'm just going to stop right here. Thank you so much. Goodbye.